Hi shitties, it's me, Eddie Stevens. I'm back out in the bosque in New Mexico. The bosque is the forest which grows next to the river here in New Mexico, which I've told you 100 fucking times if you've bothered listening. I'm actually on the opposite side of the river today. If this looks a little unfamiliar, a bunch of half-dead looking trees, but they're a little bit more sarcastic on this side than the side I'm used to. I don't like them as much. I'm here to give you my, I don't know why I decided to do it outside, it's pretty stupid, but I'm going to give you my England versus France, England player ratings, and also match analysis, and also other stuff. Jesus Christ, that was bad, wasn't it? You've already heard all your favourite podcasts, and all your favourite pundits sort of dissect and discuss how that game went down, gave you their opinions. You've heard the rest. Now check out the vest, because I'm wearing a vest. If you're in England, called a vest in England. This, I live in the US, and I don't know why I'm spinning, and I think I was trying to do a twirl for you, but you followed me. You were supposed to go behind me. Yeah, here they call it a tank top, or an undershirt, or sometimes, if they're being cheeky, they call it a wife beater. And that's usually what I call it. And unfortunately, I'm not able to beat my wife because I'm divorced. I no longer have a wife. So I could wear this and beat her up, but it wouldn't be appropriate. Kind of like when if you saw some guy outdoor, like shopping or something, and he's wearing some kind of martial arts gi, and then you find out he actually doesn't do any martial arts. It's like, what do you do? It's stolen valor, isn't it? So I don't like to, if anyone sees me in this and asks, it's going to be embarrassing. They're like, oh, wife beater, bro, you beat your wife? And I'll be like, no, I just wear the shirt. And they'd be like, fucking pathetic. I will hit her. I'll be me. I'll send her an angry text. England versus France. First of all, if you listened to me last week, you'll remember, and if you didn't listen, or rather watch my YouTube video, go back and watch it real quick, when I basically gave England no chance. But if you remember, I talked about my Scheider's touch, how by saying that we had no chance, I basically tricked the universe into letting them win. Because the universe, it's like a fetish for the universe, or God, however you see it. Let's say God, he has a fetish for humiliating me. He gets off on it. So if I say, oh, we're going to get absolutely humiliated, we're going to get our asses kicked. I used humiliated again, that was stupid. We're going to get our asses kicked, they're going to thrash us. We'll always win if I say that. Just like there's a traffic light near my house. I don't know if you have one of these. It's the bane of my existence. This one set of traffic lights, I have to go through it every day, and it always turns red as I approach. Unless I say to the person, if I've got a passenger with me, if I say to them, this fucking light's going to turn red as we come around the corner, because it always does. If I say that, then as I come around the corner, it turns green perfectly. And he's like, well, what's the problem? I'm always nice to you. And then whoever's with me is like, what are you talking about? This is a perfectly reasonable and nice traffic light, but it's not. It's a cunt. First off, I just want to tell you my overall feelings after that game was I lost my voice from screaming with delight. I was so happy. It was so unexpected. Not just because before the game I predicted we would get spanked. I thought it was going to be a humiliation, like a record loss. But to win in the dying seconds is always, it's the worst way to lose and it's the best way to win. God, it is glorious. But there was no way we were going to do it. Like with this England team, we lose those games, always. We get agonizingly, I was already prepared to talk about it, so close yet so far yet again. But we did it, we won it. And, is that going to prove to be a turning point for England? Is that going to be, it's not going to do us any harm, but is it going to be like a key turning point at which England realizes they can win these games? And psychologically, have we sort of unlocked a door to sort of release the talent and potential that we know this England, well, I believe this England squad has? I don't know. See, it's very dangerous to get too excited one way or the other about this. There are various members of the general population that I consider my rugby brethren. Just if you've subscribed to my YouTube channel, you're already part of the brethren. If you've subscribed to my podcast and you listen, you're definitely rugby brethren. But also, if you're just a fan of any of the rugby podcasting celebrities, A-list celebrities, you got your egg chasers, you got your tribe talking, and you got your maul over, even though they are taking a sabbatical. Did you hear that? Those are cranes. I don't know if you could hear it. They sound like something out of Jurassic Park. At least I fucking hope that's what that was. Otherwise, I'm in big trouble. Now I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. Now, some key members of the Rugby Brethren are in a WhatsApp group chat with me. And these are the members of More Over Rugby podcast. There's a cameraman, Dougie. Oh, he's part of More Over anyway. I didn't need to say him again. And then there's all sorts of people who are far more successful than me, and I resent them for it. But I brag about my sex life, and I think they secretly are jealous of me, even though they make fun of me and they say, "Oh, we're not into trannies." Bullshit. But the Rugby Brethren in that WhatsApp group, and by the way, I'm guilty of this sometimes too. They are the most pessimistic, negative people you will ever meet, and but it's part of why I love them, because we've been through shit with English rugby and just life in general. And you reach a point where it's like we're like abused wives, you know. Just because our husbands, I'm back to beating wives again. In this case, I'm the wife. I think that makes it okay. You know, just because your husband is like, "I've changed, I'm not going to hit you anymore, I've stopped drinking," doesn't mean you're not going to go, "Huh," every time he fucking raises his voice, right? And similarly, this English rugby team, we've seen this before. They beat Ireland last year, and we're still talking about them being, people are still talking about Steve Borthwick getting fired, this Six Nations, you know. We beat France not that long ago, didn't we? We had the World Cup, we did great. Came very close. So we've been there before. This absolutely certainly doesn't mean anything, really. But I'm just going to enjoy the win until the next game. Because that's the thing. If we beat Scotland, Wales and Italy, this Six Nations is already a success. That's a huge, huge improvement, right? If we lose to any of them, and we could lose to all of them, by the way. We could lose to Italy, for sure. Wales are literally a joke in rugby right now, but that's exactly the kind of team that would beat us. If we lose all those games, this won't mean shit. But, you know, don't be a negative cunt. Just sort of enjoy it while you can. That was an enjoyable game. And yes, I know France made a lot of mistakes. We made a few mistakes, but, you know, there's those cranes. Can you see them? Look at the size of it. That's one of the things I love about New Mexico is the outdoors. We have all sorts of amazing, beautiful wildlife. Wouldn't it be fucking hilarious if a bear attacked me right now? There's no bears in this area. Coyotes, but they're kind of pussies. They're like big foxes. They will kill your pets if you have small dogs. My dogs would rip them to pieces, but average dogs would get torn to pieces by them. And cats, my daughter's cat was killed, ripped apart in the streets by a pack of coyotes. And they will kill children if they can. It's never happened as far as I'm aware. It must have happened. I mean, they must have been attacked. But generally, I think they know humans are to be left alone. I'll tell you what, I have a theory about this. I used to think it was because of guns. And they were like, all wild animals kind of knew, oh, those weird looking tall creatures make a bang noise and then we die. I actually think it has more to do with the fact that they've communicated amongst themselves and they've realized that sometimes people fuck animals. Because we do, don't we? I mean, we don't. It's mostly the Germans. But, like, there's not an animal on Earth that hasn't been fucked by a human at some point. And that, by the way, that would be enough for them to be scared of us. You know, because I don't care. Like, we're slow and weak compared to most wild animals. But if we're trying to fuck them, it's like imagine like a tortoise. tortoise is really small and weak. It's nothing to be scared of. But if you knew tortoises were just lumbering around trying to find people to fuck us, you'd stay the fuck away from tortoises, wouldn't you? I would never... I mean, you could run up to a tortoise, pick it up, throw it in the air, and it would hit the ground and die. But you'd rather not even touch it. I got sidetracked, sorry. What was I saying? How did I get into animals being fucked? Oh yeah, because we saw cranes. Now it makes sense. France dropped the ball a lot. We dropped the ball a bit, but we were much more clinical than them. One thing that no one seemed to be talking about, though, is everybody's just saying, oh, France made tons of uncharacteristic mistakes and they wouldn't normally, and they kept dropping the ball. Well, the weather was bad. Like there were slippery conditions. It had been... I'm not sure if it was raining throughout the game, but it was definitely raining at the beginning. And last time I checked, there's a reason we play the game outdoors, because the conditions are part of the game. And if you can't manage the conditions, then you're not a good enough team. Like, yeah, they made mistakes. Why did they make mistakes? Don't make mistakes. That's part of the game. It's like when people say, when someone misses a bunch of kicks, and then they're like, oh, well, if they'd got the kicks, then they'd have won. It's like, yeah, but they didn't get the kicks. And the kicks are part of the game, and there's skill involved. And having an off day with the boot means you're not good enough, and that's all there is to it. Do you know what I mean? Speaking of an off day with the boot, how do you feel about Marcus Smith? I kind of love the way it went for the most part. His goal kicking, I actually don't know why he was kicking goals to begin with, because I just think Finn Smith... one thing Finn Smith definitely has over Marcus is his like steely, cold, clinical performance under pressure. And I've seen him do it multiple times. I have not seen Finn Smith shit the bed when it comes to big game performances, specifically goal kicking. He's got ice in his veins. I don't know what, and he's got to, I haven't checked the stats, obviously, because I don't do that, but I would assume his statistics, goal kicking, are better than Marcus's. So it's kind of crazy that he didn't take all of the kicks. But all in all, I think it did work. I think people might get a bit carried away with Finn Smith at 10, although I am starting to agree with the people who have said Marcus is an exciting, great player and it's fun to watch, but that's not what you want in an international 10. I kind of get it. I'm kind of leaning towards... Sorry, I thought I forgot my car key. I've got it in my pocket. I'm starting to lean towards that now, that it's great to have as an option, and he's great to have on the bench or at fullback, but when you want someone marshalling everything, dictating play, and making the right decisions in the right areas under pressure, you really want someone less of a maverick, more of an Iceman, to use a Top Gun reference. But I think it worked. I mean, obviously we beat France. That's not what we expected. Maybe you did, I did not. And I think Finn Smith, unfortunately for Marcus, I would go so far as to say that, barring injury, that's the end of him as England's first choice 10. And I don't know if that's good or not, because I'm a huge Marcus Smith fan and I think he can be great. But unfortunately, he's a bit of a victim of his own versatility. And we've seen this happen many times. Once Steve Borthwick decided he was an option at fullback, I think that was the beginning of the end for Marcus. Unless he proves to be so good at fullback now that he owns that shirt. I myself am a huge fan of Joe Carpenter at Sale. But I could see, I mean, it may just be that Marcus's international career is now going to be kind of like, what's his fucking name? Who's the All Blacks fly half / fullback?
Who smiles when he kicks a goal. Oh God, he's really famous, I can't think of his name. You know what I'm talking about.
He could sort of have a similar career to him, where he's sort of
had the 10 shirt, then gone to fullback, and then gone back to 10, and it's just sort of, he absolutely in no way owns a specific shirt, but he's always in the conversation and always in the squad, usually the matchday squad.
Is he? I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. The pack were really, really good, especially Tom Curry. Now, Tom Curry, I said I didn't think he really deserved to be recalled to the England squad, and he didn't on form. I never ever would have said he shouldn't. I was never outraged that he was picked. I just thought that actually his brother Ben was playing better than him. But these 2 games he's played in, and 1 game for Sale, is the last time I saw him play for Sale, he looked like he was getting back to his best. And I said that at the time, so fuck off. But he was fucking incredible in this match. I mean, definitely the best player. Benel, a little bit better again. And again, I said last week, he's not suddenly shit. He's still a really good player. He just hasn't had any outstanding matches in a while. Tom Willis, everyone's saying played well. I've got to be honest with you. For a big chunk of the first half, I was distracted because somebody kept sexting me. I'm off on a weird path I've never been on before. Let's see where I end up. Ooh. I'm going to find a witch, aren't I? Fuck. And it won't be a sexy witch. It'll be a horrible old hag. Well, she'll look sexy at first, and then she'll entice me into a beautiful cottage. And then I'll come around later and I'll be tied up, and it will not be a cottage. It'll be a hut made of shit. And she'll be an old hag, and she'll have a goat suckling from her saggy old tits, and she'll be cackling and laughing at me, and I'll come so hard. What a stupid waste of time this video was. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try and wrap this up now. But this is the thing. I'm so happy with what I said, even though it was all absolute filth and nonsense. I'm not going to change it. I guess... Oh, really quickly. Alex Mitchell, much better again. Henry Slade, he's fine. Ollie Lawrence had a good game. Tommy Freeman, outstanding. Ollie Slightholme, not as influential throughout the match as Tommy Freeman, but when he was influential, Jesus Christ, he was influential. My favourite moment was when he ran back to cover and stop what looked like a certain French try, got a hold of the ball, believe he handed off... Christ, I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. French scrum half captain Dupont. Fuck. I believe he handed off Dupont and had a nice little break. Absolutely. He's one of those guys where not always the best for Saints. Doesn't always even get picked for Saints, but when he plays for England, he is quality. They've got to stick with him. And yeah, Marcus at fullback, for the most part, I thought fine. I think now I would persevere with him as a fullback. Personally, like I said, I would like to have Joe Carpenter brought in, but maybe alternate between those two. And then Marcus is always going to, be a good option for fly half cover. Just to wrap this bullshit up, I'm very pleased with that. Couldn't have asked for more, really. Let's just hope that, so English rugby... Well, rugby in general, when a team improves, especially when they're starting at a fairly low point, like England has, the improvement is never linear, rarely linear. It's going to have peaks and troughs, but you just hope that it ultimately goes up, right? You know what I'm saying? In England's case, it seems to have gone, it's sort of like a, whoa, wow! But hopefully... when you stand back more, you'll see ultimately it's going way up and we'll win the World Cup. That's what I would like. Elliot Daly scoring the winning try was nice for him. Still don't think he should be in the squad, but it's fine. I'm very happy. I'm going to go back to I'm going back into the forest, I think, to my shenanigans. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment and tell people to watch this and tell them to listen to my rugby podcast, Rugby Rant Banter, because it is the best rugby podcast in the world. And if you thought this was fun, my podcast is way more fucked up.